Hey squad. Hopping on the vlog for the first time, and I have been here for about 4 days. But, did we expect anything different? I don't think so. I am currently in my room, in which I will give a tour of soon. It is, I think it's Wednesday, probably around noon. I just got out of my German class, my very first class, and it was actually fun. And so while I talk to you about what I've been doing, I'm going to make myself a little, we all know, bread and cheese and fruit, because that's a meal. I bought all this stuff yesterday from this market hall that's like 5 minutes away from here. It's really cute. It's kind of like a farmer's market, but they do it every single day. And it's just kind of where people go to get their food. So I got a little bread roll, which is called a Broschen. And then I got some, it's really rough. I got some brie, because we all know I love my brie. And then, this is an interesting story. I got some olives. And so when I went to get these olives, I was standing, there was like kind of a line. So I was standing in line, and there was one of those fridges that had like drinks in it. And I was like, you know what, I need to get some water because I'm severely dehydrated. So I grabbed a bottle of water, and I was standing there in line, like waiting my turn to ask for the olives. And the guy working the counter saw me holding the water and thought that I just wanted to buy water, and he felt bad that I had to wait in the line for so long to like just buy water. And he was speaking to me in German, and like I was not feeling the German. So I was kind of just like, no, like trying to like show that I was also buying olives, but he was also really busy with the other people. So I don't think he really got what I was trying to say. But anyways, so then the lady in front of me also thought that I was just buying water, and she was like, oh, like, go ahead. And I was like, no, like, she thought I was just trying to be nice and be like, no, like, you go ahead. But like, I was like, no, girl, like, don't let me cut you in this line. Like, you've been waiting for your olives. And so she let me go ahead, and then I was like, could I get some olives? And he was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, that's my bad. But I got my olives, so that's all that matters. So yes, I have the bread, I have the brie, I have the olives, and then I got this little sack of green grapes. I really wanted to get the raspberries because they looked really good, but I don't know how to say raspberry in German, and they were also like €6 for just like a little tub of them, which I probably would have been worth it, but I did not get them. I got the grapes instead. So that's what I'm eating, and that's what I'll be doing here while I talk. But anyways, the reason that I have not started vlogging is because I have been having a less than ideal experience. Okay, that's really not true at all. Like, it's been fine, but I've just not been like in the most chipper mood to be taking a video of myself and everything that I'm doing, because let me just explain. So we can start with the travel process. Travel process was actually great. The travel process was actually probably the best part of my experience so far. But I'm also just dramatic. I got to fly first class from Denver to Washington, D.C., which was nice. I sat next to this man. He was older. He was very sweet, very quiet. I was vibing with it. And then I also flew first class from Washington. D.C. over to Berlin, and let me tell you, I have videos. that I did take videos of some of my travel stuff, so I'll put those in. In my first class seat to Washington is our first stop. And let me show you what we're looking at.
Please keep your smaller items and jackets with you to help.
Carl is not sitting next to me, so I'm gonna have some random person. But I do have the windows. So I'm on my flight to Berlin now, and I'm in seat 1L in first class, and this seat, like, it's hard to tell on video, but like, it's my own little pod. Like, I'm in my own little space right now. Full widgets. Let me flip it around. This is my little space. And this, and window, yeah. I'm about to take off. I got my champagne. Blankets and my pillows, and yeah, that's it. This is so cute. But that was like a 10 out of 10 experience if I've ever had one. It was just, I don't know. Like, I had my own little space, and I got to lay down, and I also got to like use iMessage. So I was just texting Josh the whole time. Hi, baby. And yeah. So that made that really easy. But then when we got to the Berlin airport, all we had to do was go through customs and then get our bags and go. But of course, like, we got through customs fine, which is actually kind of shocking because like the people in front of us were taking forever to like get through. Like, they kept questioning them and all this stuff. So I was like nervous. I was like, because I had to go do it alone. And like, usually you just say you're traveling for like pleasure or whatever, and they let you through, but like, I have my student thing. And so I thought I was gonna have to pull up like all of this paperwork, but then I literally like walk up to the guy. Sorry, I literally just walk up to the guy and hand him my passport. Like, I don't think a single word was even exchanged. Like, I handed him my passport. He like looked at me, looked down, stamped it, and was like, go ahead. And I was like, what? Because I kid you not, like, every other person in front of us, it was a whole ordeal to like get through customs. So shout out to that guy. He really made my life easy. But what else? Oh, so then we get to baggage claim, and we're like, okay, we just gotta wait for our bags. And like, that part always makes me nervous because like, honestly, one of my bigger fears in life is losing my luggage. Like, I don't get how people could recover after losing their luggage. because I am just way too attached to all my stuff. Like, you could give me like the amount of money that like would cover the amount of items lost, and I would still probably be like depressed because I'm just so attached to my things. So anyways, it was like taking kind of longer than usual, and I'm like getting nervous because I'm like, if my luggage does not come down on that carousel, I might fight someone. And so they keep saying over the announcement, like, oh, there's gonna be delays, like in the baggage claim. But mind you, like, this is like a small airport. Like, there's only like 4 other flights that have come in the last hour. And so it's not like DIA where like you need to be waiting because there's so many like bags trying to come in. Like, it would make sense for them to be pretty quick with it. We ended up, oh, also, there's no air conditioning in this like airport apparently, and it's like 90 degrees outside. And so we are just like sitting in this hot, humid little baggage claim, and like, yeah, I was unwell. I was not doing great, but it's okay. We ended up waiting like, I think over an hour, like well over an hour to get our bags. For no reason either. Like, I'd get it if maybe there was like a little more of a reason, but there was no reason. So that was the only part of travel that was like a little rough. But like, it's not like we really had anywhere we needed to be. So it was like, oh, and when we got in, it was like 8:45 in the morning. So, you know, it was fine. I got over it. So then Carl and I got in a taxi and we went to the hotel we were staying at for the night, which was the JW Marriott. And we got there. Very nice hotel, of course. It's Carl. What do we expect? I took some videos of that too, so I'll insert that as well.
There's some cafes behind there. We can go and check them out. Take a nice picture from the front there. Yeah, that's pretty.
But yeah, we got to the hotel, and I'm pretty sure the first thing I did was take a nap because I was just, or maybe I took a shower. I can't remember. I either took a nap and then took a shower, or just skipped the nap and took a shower. But we ended up going out and walking around because the hotel was in this neighborhood called the Tiergarten, which is like, that's what they call their little parks, is gardens, or like garden with a T, garden. So we decided that we'd go, like, first we walked around in the park, and then we kind of walked closer to like the main city, Berlin area, where like all the old historic buildings are and like the sights to see and all that. And I think I took some videos of that too, so I can insert that as well. But yeah, we saw some cool things. It wasn't too bad walking around. The only thing I remember is that I was like starving, and we did not stop for food, so that was nice. But what was I gonna say? I really enjoyed the park though. That's the thing about Germany that I've always enjoyed, is like their little parks are just like, and these aren't like a little park, I say little in front of everything, but like these parks are like probably like 3 or 4 miles across, like one end to the other. Like, these are huge areas of space that's just like forest and grass and like sometimes water, like little ponds or lakes or something. And I've always loved the gardens because you could just go there and like lay down a blanket and read a book and pack a picnic, that kind of stuff, which I'm really down with that vibe. And so, yeah, I enjoyed that part, but it was also cool to see some of the sights. But, so yeah, we did that. I think we walked around for like 4 hours. It ended up being, or maybe even longer. We stopped at a coffee shop and got a little like lunch-ish type thing. And that brings me to the first thing. Okay, well, I guess I said the gardens. First or second thing that I like about Germany is that when you get a Coke at a restaurant, it's served typically in like a cute little bottle, and then they give you a glass of ice, and then they also put a slice of lemon in their Coke, and it's so good. And so I gotta remember to do that when I come back because it is really good. So yeah, we went out to lunch in kind of the downtown area. Then we walked back. By the time I got back to the hotel, it was like happy hour at the hotel, so we got free drinks. So we just had like a glass of wine and nothing too interesting. And then I went back up to the room. I can't remember. Oh yeah, so then we ended up going out to dinner. Maybe that's when I showered. I don't know. The events of the day are pretty all over the place because I was kind of just exhausted and dehydrated. So, but that was great. It's okay. But that night, the first night, we went out to dinner to this Italian restaurant that I found that was kind of more in like, I think it's comparable to like the Denver Tech Center of Berlin, because it wasn't super like busy, but it was really nice and whatever. But we went to this Italian restaurant and I wasn't super hungry, but I kind of forced myself to eat. And we got some caprese salad and, oh, I got a limoncello spritz, which for those of you who heard me always rant about last year's Europe trip, I talked about this limoncello spritz that I would get at the hotel when we were staying on the Amalfi Coast. And it was so good, and like, obviously they don't have that in America, but they did have it at this Italian restaurant, so I got that, and that was really good and nice to have. But they made it very strong. Like, I had one, I don't think I even finished it actually. It was like a normal like wine glass, probably filled like that much, I guess, like if that's the top, or if this is the whole thing, it was probably filled like that much. And I don't think I even finished it, but I was like stumbling out of that restaurant with Carl. Like, they poured heavy. But anyways, so that was good. Oh, and I got spaghetti. I just got spaghetti because I wasn't hungry, and I was like, I don't know, that would be good to just munch on. But yeah, that was good. And then we just went back to the hotel, and I took a bath because they had kind of a nice bathtub, so that was nice to be able to do. And then yeah, just went to bed. And then I slept through the night. We woke up the next morning, I think around like 9:30. I woke up around 9:30. And we just went to breakfast at the hotel. But this is when the issues begin, is the second. The first day was actually not bad. The second day, I woke up and I was just like, my stomach didn't really hurt, but it's like usually, you know, when you wake up and you're like, oh, like I'm kind of hungry, like I could eat. Like my stomach was like, no, like I was like full. Like I felt full to the point that like I felt sick. So then we like go down to this fancy breakfast at the hotel, and I'm like wanting to eat everything, but I just physically can't because I'm like, oh, like I just feel like the only thing I ate was watermelon and mangoes. And I think some pickles. But like you get the vibe. Like I just needed to eat like something fresh and light. Like I couldn't eat a bread or like a pancake. Like that was not happening. And so that was kind of sad. So I forced myself to eat some fruit, and I tried to drink some water. And then when we got back up to the room, I was like out. Like my stomach was like killing me slowly. And so I was like trying to get ready. I think I actually did like shower But then by the time I got out of the shower, I had to like lay down in bed. I was like, I am not feeling great. So then I was curled up in a ball and laying in my bed, or in the bed in the hotel. But I had like an hour to get all my stuff together before we had to go over to check in for my program. So I'm like slowly like trying to get up. I'm silently sobbing to myself because I'm just like, I don't know, stomach pain for me is like, I can't deal with it for some reason. I tried to take my charcoal, didn't really help. But I got up and I got everything together, ended up pulling myself together, so that's good. But so then we went over to the hotel, then we left the hotel. It was like a 10-minute taxi ride to get to the campus of the place that I'm staying. And we like show up and we walk in and we get checked in and they're like, yeah, like you could go to your room immediately, like it's already ready. I was like, that's sick. But then also, I didn't know that I had to get a freaking picture taken for my visa. They're like, oh, and we're gonna quickly take your picture for your visa, like biometrics. And I'm like, I didn't put a lick of makeup on my face because I was like, I just need to go there and move in, like sit through some orientations. Like, I'm not gonna get done up. And so, thank God I never saw that picture. I probably never will have to. So, sorry for the people at the German visa place that have to see that. It was a bit scary. But anyways, so I go up to my room with my dad and walk in. My roommate was already here. And she had already unpacked and picked her bed, and yeah, she was pretty moved in. And I was like, oh, hey. It was just kind of awkward, but yeah, that was whatever. I can talk about my room more later when I do a tour. But yeah, so then we did that real quick, and then my dad and I went and walked around like the neighborhood to try to find things. And at this point, I was in a really bad mood because I didn't feel well. I couldn't eat food. I was dehydrated. I just wanted to sleep too. Like, I was not allowed to sleep the first 2 days we were here. Well, like sleep at normal times. But like, I just wanted to sleep in the middle of the day and I wasn't allowed to. So that was annoying. But yeah, so we're walking around the neighborhood. I'm pretty annoyed, in a bad mood because it's hot and all of these other things. And it kind of just, for those of you who were there for when I started my freshman year of college, it was like to a T the exact same situation. Like, I was just in my mood. And there was no getting me out of that mood, which is why I didn't vlog anything, because also the fact that I was a little embarrassed to just like whip out my phone in a tripod in front of a bunch of people that I've never met before. And so, I don't know, everyone else here was like socializing with each other down in the lobby, and I was just like the most antisocial I've ever been. I was like, I could care less to talk to any of you, and if one of you tries to talk to me, I'll probably just glare at you. So I just sat with my dad and waited for, I forget what we were waiting for, but then there was the issue that I didn't have any towels. And like, this was probably, I'd call this my first official documented culture shock that I had. Was like, I was like, oh, I need towels, I need a pillow, like kind of just random things. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I need to go to Target. And then like, obviously I know they don't have Targets here. But then I'm like, what is their Target equivalent? Like, what would you even call Target? Like, if you had to describe it. And so, like, the only thing I could think of is, like, a department store, maybe, but, like, that doesn't even, I feel like that's more like a JCPenney type, like, I don't know. So then I'm, like, trying to look on Google Maps for, like, some sort of store that I could go to get towels and, like, other random things, and, like, I'm just struggling. So then I finally, like, muster up the strength to ask for help, and they're like, oh, go to this place called Poco that's, like, 15 minutes walking away from here. And I was like, okay. So my dad and I walk over to Poco, and this place is, like, it's like a furniture store, first of all, and it's like a discount furniture store. Like, I don't even know. Like, everything was really cheap, and everything is very, like, low quality, if that makes sense. It was almost like if socialism was a store. But anyways, it worked for what I needed. This is fantastic. That is really good. Anyways, I need to get through this so I can eat, because clearly it's not going to both happen at the same time. But anyways, so we're at Poco, and also, like, I feel like a big thing is that everyone's like, oh, everyone's going to try to speak English to you, like, as soon as they realize you're American, and, like, or maybe that's just what my dad says. But, like, my dad would always be like, oh, yeah, like, if you're going to try to speak German, but everyone's going to try to speak English to you. He was wrong. Like, nobody really, like, I don't know if they just didn't tell that we were American or if they just didn't care enough. Either way, it's fine. But, like, no one in the store was speaking any English. Like, this was, like, the local German furniture store. So we, like, find our towels, and then I'm like, you know what, I should probably get a pillow, because, like, they provide us with one pillow and, like, this scary little blanket. And the one pillow that they gave me for some reason was just, like, god-awful. Like, I'll show later in the room tour. But anyways, I was like, I should probably try to get another pillow. So then we find this other pillow that also turns out to just not be great quality, but, you know, it's better than nothing. So we buy 3 towels and a pillow, and we get out of there, and we walk back, and I put my stuff down, and then we went to literally, like, 500 feet away from here. There's this little cafe that's, like, crepes and coffee and, like, other things, but, like, that's what they specialize in. And so I was starving and desperate, so we just went and got a crepe, and I got a Coke with my little slice of lime, or not lime, lemon. Actually, no, they put a slice of orange in this Coke, which usually I hate orange, but, you know, I'm still digging the citrus in the Coke thing. And Carl got a smoothie, I got a Nutella crepe, all very good. And then this was the point in which Carl and I departed, went our separate ways. And so, yeah, he left, and then I just went back up to my room. I was gonna unpack, but I think we had like a welcome orientation thing. And so I was forced to go, and, like, I wasn't forced to socialize, but I was forced to go be around people. So, and I was still in my bad mood at this point, because I was like, you know what, I'm really second guessing all of this, because I guess that's just what my personality is like. So I went down to where it was, and, like, mind you, at this point, everyone already has, like, a group. Like, not even, like, their person. Like, everyone is already grouped up, like, at least 3 people, and are, like, have been spending the day with them. So I am painfully behind in the socializing process. And so it's just, like, a bunch of chairs set up, and I go down, and I sit down, like, on my own, and I kind of, like, expect that someone might just, like, sit next to me, or, like, some people will just sit next to me. Nope. There I am, sitting all alone. Like, out of the whole group, I am the only person who's sitting alone. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, I just need to get out of here. Like, I was not doing well. But, you know, it was fine. And so I was like, I'm just here to listen to the information anyways. But then there's, like, these 2 guys in front of me and this girl, and they were all kind of, like, grouped together. And one of the guys, like, turned around, and he's like, oh, what's your name? And I was like, oh, I'm Kylie. He was like, where are you from? I was like, oh, I'm from Colorado. And he's like, oh, me too. And I was like, of course. Come to find out that the whole row of people in front of me are from CU Boulder. And I'm like, oh my God, like, could this get any worse? I mean, it's like, it's not bad, but it's like the first people that I'm socializing with here in Germany are, like, all from my school. It's whatever. He was nice, but I don't know. I just cannot talk to I can't really talk to anyone, but I really cannot talk to men. Like, they all just gross me out, other than, of course, Josh. But yeah, no, I was like just trying to be nice, but that was a short-lived little friendship. Not even friendship. It was, 3 sentences exchanged, and then went back to minding our own business. But anyway, so then they did their little orientation, and then they gave us like a 45-minute break before this, like, they were taking us out for dinner. Like, all of us had to go out. It was like mandatory. And so I was like, okay, after this little thing, I like came back up here, and I was just like laying in bed, trying to relax a bit for the first time since I've gotten there. And then my roommate walks in with one of her like friends, or some girl that she'd made friends with. And this is like the first time that my roommate and I actually like started speaking words to each other, because she was like, oh, are you gonna go to the dinner? And I was like, yeah, like, and it was like really easy to talk with her and this other girl, like as soon as they initiated conversation. And so yeah, then we all kind of chatted for a little bit, and then we like headed to dinner, and they introduced me to like these, I think there was like 3 or 4 other girls that they'd also like made friends with. And so then the group of us like all went to dinner together and sat together. And yeah, so then things started to turn the corner a bit. I was like, okay, at least I'm not like the loner anymore. And like, I actually do like these girls. Like, I mean, I don't really know much about them yet, but like from first impression, I really liked them. So that was nice. Dinner was okay, but once again, like the same thing happened to me where like my eating schedule is just so confused. Like my stomach's like, what's going on? So like they had this nice large buffet for dinner, and I'm like, I can barely even think about eating a bite of anything. So I just ate like the smallest amount and called it good. And yeah, I got another Coke with a slice of lemon. That's just my go-to now when I go out, I guess. But so then after dinner we were walking back, but some of the girls and then also my roommate was like, oh, we were gonna stop at the grocery store to get some things for tomorrow. I was like, okay, yeah, like I really need water. Like, mind you, this, like, I've probably had like a glass of water since touching down in Berlin at this point, because I don't know why. But anyways, so we go to the grocery store. So this is our first like German grocery store experience. But like I was not in the mindset of like grocery shopping. So I was like, I'll just walk around with you. Like all I need to get is water and like some other random things like pencils, and I think that's all I got. Oh, and I got protein bars because I was like, they had like the same ones that I normally eat at home. So I was like, I'll just get some protein bars for now, like for emergencies. But anyways, we were there for a while. My roommate got quite a bit of things, and then we were like checking out, and like once again, like no one is like, oh, you're American, I'm gonna speak English to you, which like I don't know if well, obviously like I appreciate it because we're here to be learning German and stuff, but like I was just kind of shocked because I kind of had this expectation that like everyone would just kind of speak English to me because they could tell I'm American. But it was fine. So the grocery store was actually fun. And so then we, like, my roommate and I walked back to our room together, and we're just kind of like bonding, like realizing all these things we have in common and stuff. And then I think we like got back to the room and like called it a night. Like people were like going out, and I was like, oh my God, I just need to go to bed. Like I was so tired. But this water, I buy, this is it. This is not like it, but this is the bottle. I get that it's not the correct direction to be able to read. But anyways, it's just like, it was like the generic bottle of water I could find. And that's all I needed. I open up this bottle to drink. First sip, I'm like gagging. And like, I can't tell if it's just because I'm spoiled with like Colorado water or if it's actually just like bad. I mean, it's not bad water, but like, it was weird. And so I like try to force myself to keep drinking it because I was like, I just need to hydrate. Like, I'm not doing well, clearly. And I got about like a quarter of the way into it. And I was like, I cannot drink. Like, it started to hurt my stomach. I was like, I cannot keep drinking this. But I think I just ended up going to bed. Yeah, I think I just went to bed. I don't think I did anything else interesting that night. So then that was all Monday. So this brings us to yesterday, was Tuesday. I wake up and my stomach is like so unwell. I can't tell if it's from the lack of eating or if it's from the water I tried to drink that tasted so funky or what's going on. But I did not feel well. So I was like, and we were supposed to go on a 3 to 4 hour walking tour of the city at 9:30 in the morning. And I was like, I'm gonna have to sit this one out. Like, I do not think, like, mind you, I've already walked around the city with Carl and like twice. So I'm good on the city for now. Like, I felt fine with my decision to not go. And it's also just been like so hot. Like, apparently this, like, from the time we got here, like from Sunday until now, has been like the hottest days in Berlin of the year. Like, everyone here is like, yeah, it's usually not this hot, which is great for us who don't have air conditioning, but that's a different story. Anyways, so I skip out on the city tour because I'm like, I'm just not feeling well. We have like a whole afternoon of orientations we have to go to, so I'm like, I'll just rest so that I'm fine for those at least. And so that's what I do. I ended up sleeping until like 12 or 1 maybe, which was nice. And then I got ready and I went downstairs to the orientations. And I mean, they were nothing interesting. Like, it was just a bunch of random stuff, but it was whatever. And yeah, I think I did that for like 4 hours. And then we applied for our visa, like filled out our paperwork to get a residence permit, which was interesting because all the paperwork is in German. So we had to like sit there and have them like walk us through it. And it took like an hour to fill out like 5 forms. But that was also not bad though. It was kind of fun. I don't know. I was with some of those girls that I met at dinner, so it wasn't too bad. But then I stood up, and this might be too personal, but my girls, we know. I stood up and I had that moment. I was like, there's a chance I might have just bled through my pants. And mind you, I'm wearing like my beige linen pants, like the worst possible pants that you would want to be wearing if you just started your period. So I kind of stood up and I was like, oh, I don't know. So I just like quickly walked back to my room, and of course I bled through my pants. Not like bad, but like maybe a little bad, but like so then comes back my bad mood, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so great because I have nothing to get this stain out because I don't have anything here and everything is confusing and I don't know where to go to buy anything because there's no freaking Target. And so yeah, so that was fun. And then I just changed. At this point, I was like actually starving, like on my death. Like it's now 5 o'clock on Tuesday. I haven't really eaten since like the kind of dinner I ate the night before. And so I'm like, you know what? I just need to go out and get some food. So I changed my pants and I decide to boldly venture out into the streets of Berlin for the first time alone. Not that it's like scary or anything, but I've just hadn't done that yet. And so yeah, so I walked over to that farmer's market. That's when I bought all this stuff. It was a little scary, which then brings me to culture shock-ish. number 2, there's like this fountain that's like in this little plots that the kids were, or that like a bunch of families were hanging out at, and there's like this fountain that kids are playing in, and the parents would have the kids play in the water like naked, like fully naked, like little boys and girls, like fully naked. And like, I mean, it's not weird, like it's not, no one's like staring and being creepy. Like that's just one of those things that they can do here that we can't do in America because they don't have creeps here the way we do there. But anyways, I guess I would call that a culture shock. But like it doesn't really shock me because I feel like maybe in some parts of America, like, or like in the privacy of your own home, like people let their kids play in water naked or whatever. But so yeah, that was a little, I'm just gonna call that my second culture shock. But so I went to the market and I got this food, and then I went to this Austrian restaurant that was like across the street, and I ordered a Wiener Schnitzel to go because I'd been craving one. And then I just came back to my room and I ate my schnitzel, and it was really good. And then I started to feel better because I had food in me. Oh my gosh, I never even finished my story about the water. So the bottled water was terrible and like making me sick. So I looked it up and I was like, what's the best water to buy in Berlin? And every single thing was like, just drink straight from the sink, like straight from the tap. And those of you who know me know that I'm a little spoiled and I don't drink tap water. Or I don't even think that's spoiled. Okay, I just did not drink, like, we just didn't grow up drinking tap water. Like, I just did not know that was like an okay thing to do. So it's just a little weird to me. But you know what? I was like, I'll trust it. If like everyone here too is saying like, just drink from the tap, like it's good. I'm like, okay. So then that's why I like dumped out the water that was in this. And then all of this water in here is just the tap water. And it is good. I do like it and it doesn't hurt my stomach. So that's what I've been doing, is just drinking the tap water. That's the solution I came up with. But anyways, so now I'm starting to feel better at this point. This was last night because I'd eaten some like real food. I'm getting some water in me. And then we had like a floor meeting at like 7:30 that I went to with my roommate, and it was, I don't know, it was uneventful. It was like 30 minutes. And then we just came back up here and yeah, I just called it a night. Once again, like people were like going out and I'm like, oh my God, like I could not right now. Like that's just not on my mind, but go you guys. But yeah, I went to bed at like midnight, I think, because today I had my first class. So I had German from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., which sounds rough because I mean 2.5 hours, but it went by very fast. Or the way they do it is like you go for like 50 minutes and then you get a 10-minute break, and then you go for 50 minutes and you get a 10-minute break, and then you go for 30 minutes. And like the last 30 minutes is kind of just like free time. So it really goes by pretty fast. And let me just tell you a bit about my German class. There's 4 of us total. Like all the other classes are normally like 12 to 16 students. We are the smallest class in the whole program because I'm taking like intermediate German. So it's me and these 2 other girls and then one guy and our professor. And she's super nice and like super like easygoing, but like also really good at teaching. So I was eating it up. I was very much enjoying this German class. Like I'm excited, one might say. Like I'm shocked that I'm actually excited about a class. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Learned some good things, and yeah. So I have that again tomorrow morning, and then my other class also starts tomorrow, which is international marketing. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so all I've done today is I went to class this morning and then came back and started this, and I'd say eat food, but I've taken a single bite because I've just had so much to catch you guys up on. and that was just a mess all over the place. I doubt that was interesting at all. I'll probably cut out a lot so it's easier to watch. But yeah, that's kind of a catch up to where I am now. And I'm gonna try my best to like actually start vlogging like what I'm doing and stuff like that. So yeah, once I finish eating, I'll probably do a room tour if my roommate's not back. And yeah, when I do the room tour, I'll also explain more. Goodbye for now, I guess.